The internet, the final frontier.
Sorry, Captain.
These are the reviews of Off the Chest podcast. I think Melvin was just screaming, "I'm giving it all she has got, Captain!" But in the form of a sneeze, a very manly sneeze in that sense. Hey everybody, welcome to Off the Chest podcast review for Star Trek Into Darkness. I am your co-host Rakesh. I got with me my lovely co-host Melvin.
G'day, mate.
Oh, bringing down it Aussie style. And I got the other co-host with me, Anjo.
Yo, and then there's
Then there's
Who's that guy?
You know how there's always a character that always dies in everything. That's Tim. That's Tim for us.
Isn't the red suits?
He's our Kenny, basically. Yeah, man. Star Trek Into Darkness. This is the latest series this is the latest movie in the series of the new Star Trek, rebooted by J.J. Abrams following the 2009 Star Trek. Which, quick note, by the way, when that original Star Trek, the 2009 one, came out, I actually found that really surprisingly good. That was like one of my.
So good.
That was in my top 5 for that year, and I was like, "Oh, holy crap! This is such a good movie. How are they gonna top it? How are they gonna bring it back?" Well, I guess there's no other way to start this but to get into the description. So we start off with a it's Kirk and who's that fella? Bones is it? And he's Dread. Yeah.
Okay.
Dread.
The doctor.
Dread Bones, I'm gonna call him from now on. They're on a remote planet trying to stop a volcano, and all of a sudden, Spock goes into the volcano to stop it from erupting, and he accidentally sets off a machine which freezes the entire thing up.
Not accidentally.
Well, to some extent, he wasn't supposed to do that.
He accidentally goes into the volcano.
Yeah,
and
he was never supposed to go in. Yeah. And so he does that, and you know they're obviously on a primitive planet. This was not supposed to happen. Then Kirk kind of gets found out for that, his actions, gets taken off the Enterprise, and then all of a sudden the next thing that happens is the Starfleet Academy is being attacked by one John Harrison. Is that it? John Harrison?
I don't know. I just call him Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes.
The British one.
Come on, Sherlock! But yeah, man, this movie's been getting a lot of hype for what it is. But Melvin, my beautiful co-host here, what do you think of this?
Yeah, look, it was an overall great film. A lot of, the fans of the series found the plot predictable. I personally I don't know much about it at all.
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't know crap, so I found it nice.
See, here's the thing. None of us here are really kind of the Trekkie fans, exactly. but the thing is no one...
But this just shows how good he is.
You can't say that you're not a Trekkie, but at the same time, we kind of all know the names, or some of the names.
Well, yeah, here's the thing, I watch Big Bang Theory, so I hear all the Star Trek references.
Yeah.
And
you want to look up them, then you look them up, don't you?
I don't look them up, but I hear them, and they reference them, you know?
Okay.
So it's easy.
They
give context, is what I'm trying to say.
My family are really into... my dad and my uncle, they're really big Trekkies, so obviously...
They were.
Yeah. They still are. Yeah, so, you know, they watch a lot of the TV shows, so you got Enterprise, the original series, Voyager, DS9, all that stuff. I never tried to watch it. I stuck to Stargate. But, Melvin, what do you think of the... Eggs Benedict's Cumberbatch Sherlock Holmes? I can't say the guy's proper name, so I'm gonna call him that.
Okay, what's it? You know what his proper name is?
No.
Benedict
something.
Okay, so he's got
cucumbers. I think it's cucumbers.
So he's got some English as name.
Yeah.
Some 17th century shit.
Esquire the Third.
Yeah, look. Overall, plot was pretty nice to me. I thought the acting from the main villain was really well portrayed. I was surprised that they picked such a young actor to play, a well-known role. But it ended up coming out really well.
Yeah.
Also, who doesn't like, what's his name? The guy that plays Spock.
Oh, yeah, Gay Spock. Zachary Quinto.
Yeah, Zachary
There it is,
Quinto.
Yeah.
Everyone knows he's an incredible Spock. I loved his acting in this. You know, he has here's the thing: Spock's not meant to have emotion,
Yeah.
but when Zachary Quinto shows emotion as Spock, even though this is technically like an alternate reality of Star Trek, it's acceptable. Like you see Zachary Quinto do it, you're like, fuck, that's good acting. You know, you're like, fuck, I like this Spock. It's not like it's wrong. It's just it works.
Well, so far, because we've only got the 2 movies, in both the movies, they're trying to appeal to his half-human side.
Yeah.
And I don't know, if this thing's going to become a franchise, I would like for them to, at least for one of the movies, not go so much into the human side. I would like them to kind of like, for him to stick to his Vulcan side and...
Well, the way I see it is, what I like that they do is that they keep Spock like he's all, you know, calculated and shit
Yeah, and then they sort of...
through all of the film, and then only during like a really critical moment, the
thinks,
human
like,
part comes out.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. So like the majority of the film when you're watching, like, oh yeah, you know, calculated Spock. Oh yeah, blah blah blah, numbers.
Yeah, but for too much of the movie, for a lot of the movie, they're really referencing that a lot. They're trying to reference to his humanity, and a lot of that. Like, yes, he is all logical, numbers, everything like that. But then there's a good portion of the movie where they keep referencing it a lot. Now, in terms of referencing, I'm gonna get back to this in a little bit later because I think that's a little bit of a flaw with this movie. But Anjo, what do you think of it?
Well, you know, it was very... How should I say this? I think it was a great movie, but not as great as the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't think it ever will be.
I agree with you on that, yeah.
Really, even with the epic fight scene.
By the way, this is a spoiler review. I'm going to put this out there, so
Yeah.
you know.
Which one?
Spock vs. Khan.
Oh yeah, but...
That made the movie for me, man.
Really? Oh.
That's pretty epic, man.
Well, it is pretty good, but I still think that, I don't know, the storyline was much more better than the first one.
I agree with you. It's like this felt a little bit rushed. A lot of it, like for a lot of this movie, it seems to be going in one direction, and then all of a sudden it kind of pulls you in this other direction where it's like, wait, what? Where's this coming from? But there's a few other characters that come into this, and okay, we should start off with the recurring characters. We got Simon Pegg returning as Scotty.
Yeah.
We got
right.
Judge Dredd returning as McCoy. Zoe
Doctor.
Zoe Saldana coming back. Oh fuck yeah, she's hot as. Gotta throw that out there as Uhura.
Who's Harold?
Harold. Oh yeah, he's Captain Sulu.
Yeah.
John Cho.
Sorry.
And I forget the guy who plays Chekhov, but he's kind of a bigger role in this.
The
second flight guy, Chekhov.
yeah,
And does
Yeah.
engineering for a bit.
the
in
Russian
film.
dude.
Yeah. And, you know, you got new characters coming into this, like you got the Admiral Robocop guy.
Was he RoboCop?
Yeah, he was the original
Ah,
Robocop.
okay.
Alright.
And I wondered that chin looks so familiar.
I'm throwing out all these references here, and you guys are just blackface. Come on,
I was
man.
like, oh.
Yeah, and then you got
Let me take away
his
his face. Those
Robocop ain't real, man. This movie proved that. And you got his fine ass daughter,
Oh, yeah.
played by Alice Eve. And fun note, she's another character in the show, all that kind of stuff. But Andrew, anything to add on, elaborate on?
I had something in my head. Then it just went away.
Alright, well, why don't you
I'll find out.
Alright, well, personally for me, I thought this movie was, like, it was good. It wasn't as great as the first one for me. But one of the things I noticed is with the cinematography on this one, a lot of the shots were just kind of bizarre to me. I was like, why is the camera angle in that kind of direction? Why is it faced like that? And there's points when they're trying to, like, emphasize on the Enterprise. But I couldn't get a clear shot of the Enterprise. And just, like, yeah, it was really bizarre for me just to see, like, okay, why is this camera in this angle? Why is it like that? And then going... Another thing that's come back in this movie is the lens flares. Oh boy. J.J. Abrams loves his lens flares. I nearly got kind of like a seizure looking at all of them, man. It was a lot of them to have. I just... kind of just by the end of it, I was like, make it stop! Maybe seeing it in 3D where everything's a little bit darker would have been
sci-fi,
better.
man.
It would have been better. But J.J. Abrams, he really does love to do that lens flare in these two movies. Melvin, anything else to add?
I disagree with you on the lens flare thing. I don't think he overuses it. I think he uses it as necessary. I think.
Well, I don't. All right.
Alright, I'll take on that point. With the camera angle thing, yeah, he has awkward shots. I'll give you that. He pans out for a lot of awkward, weird reasons.
And then, there was a point when there was a scene where the Marcus's ship and the Enterprise's ship were like right next to each other, and then all of a sudden the camera is going like on diagonal shots of the trying to face each of the characters on a diagonal basis, and I was like tilting my head, going, "What the fuck am I doing?" But one thing I really do have to give this movie praise for is Eggs Benedict's cucumber guy. He's a really good Khan in this film.
Khan, he's supposed to be Indian though.
Yeah. His last name is Singh.
Yeah, and apparently, I just looked at it a moment ago. he is supposed to be Indian, so.
Now, one of the things with this movie, I don't know if you guys felt the same way, but it felt really hammered on with the points, the plot kind of became a little bit obvious. Yeah, it was really obvious. There's a crucial scene. There was a crucial scene where what's his name? Kirk dies, but throughout this film, they're referencing a lot the blood of Khan and how it's got these regenerative cells. But it's like you didn't have to hammer that point on so freaking much. Melvin and I were in the cinemas and we're like,
it was so obvious.
I bet this is gonna happen. I
want to know what happens when I stick this blood into that animal thing.
Well, I don't know what's gonna happen.
We know what's going to happen.
Yeah. One thing I kind of give the movie credit for is it's taking a spin on the original series. In the original film, Spock is the one who sacrifices himself and he dies. Yep. And Kirk is the one who's Khan!
Yeah. They reverse the roles in this one.
Yeah. And in the original one, when Spock dies, he actually dies. He's out for 3 or 4 films.
Oh,
he doesn't come back.
But his spirit or whatever it is sticks to the bones.
Well, they don't realize that for a while.
Yeah.
McCoy is his name, but I felt like this movie, it was too hamstrung by Hollywood trying to say we've got to keep this one safe. We can't really kill off any characters, and for that, I'd never felt really any urgency to any of the characters.
Because you know they're going to live.
Yeah, it's with all the characters.
Except for all those guys who are in engineering.
Well, with all the main characters, I knew that they were all going to survive. At no point did I feel any kind of and it kind of takes me out of the film when I'm not scared. There's no genuine emotion on my behalf feeling towards these characters.
No, for a middle film, I don't mind not losing characters. I like losing characters in the first film, but in the second film, I believe in just putting down more plot story. Think of the great movies like Lord of the Rings. Did you lose the character in the second movie? No, you didn't. Think about Star Wars, the original. You lost what's his name in the first film,
Obi-Wan.
But you didn't lose anyone really that badly in the second film.
I don't know. Luke lost his hand.
Yeah, see?
How is he going to masturbate now?
To me, second films are all about great stories, Because you've already had the whole character thing. You've already experienced how they deal with death. You don't need to see that right again.
But do you feel like...
And not to mention, the guy lost his father figure anyway.
For this to be a second film, did you feel like the story was great enough? Did it succeed for you, Melvin, the first one? Was it better?
Look, I didn't like the whole regenerative thing. That was way too fucking obvious. But here's the thing. I've heard of Khan. I've heard of Wrath of Khan, because of all the Big Bang Theory I see. Yeah. And I hear it's a great series. Or movie, whatever it is. And when it turned out to be Khan, I'm like, oh, this is really cool. I like this. I got a little referencing. The one thing I didn't like is how they just shoved Spock in there. The original Spock.
Yes.
I need to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself, man. Massive cheat code.
At the end of this first movie, he was like, man, for no circumstance, we can never be in touch. And it's like, oh no, I'm a little worried. What am I going to do? I'll call other me. Oh God, Melvin, you were right. That was freaking annoying.
Yeah. Imagine he has sex with a girl and he's like, hey, this doesn't look right. Hey, Spock, how's my junk in the future?
No, but they're kind of disassociated now. Anyway.
Yeah, they've already been there. They're different universes. We know that. But still, he can't run to a very little problem. Otherwise, it's like you have a master key to everything.
Well, it's gone now since he broke the timeline with Kirk dying first.
Oh, I mean, like, there are little misnomers like that, but the main plot is still going to be the same. I mean, the end of this movie ends with them finally beginning their 5-year journey into space. And for a lot of it, though, I felt for me, this isn't as good as the first one was. And also with the Klingons, like, people were really expecting the Klingons to really be these big, badass things. And they just kind of like die out quickly.
From that, I love the part where they kept punching Cucumber Dude.
Cucumber Dude, yeah.
Oh, when Kirk keep
when he's so angry.
Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
He's like broke his own hand punching Cumberbatch.
Yeah, it just stinks still.
Is it Cumberbatch?
It's Cumberbatch. Yeah.
Oh,
whatever.
Benedict
I looked
Cumberbatch.
I looked this up. It was Cumberbatch. I don't know what his first name is there.
Benedict.
Benedict.
I think so.
That is one English name.
Esquire the Third. Come on, Watson, we have adventures to go on. But well, hey, set phases to ratings time. It's what we got.
Oh, you mean like set phases to massively stupid pun time, man? Damn, that was bad.
I'm kind of proud of it.
Yeah, you should be. It was one of those things that's so bad it's funny. Okay, ratings?
Yeah, ratings. You guys, you know how we do it. 0 being the worst, 10 being the best. Melvin, what do you give it?
It is a solid 7 to me. I was entertained. End of story. That's what it comes down to for me.
Yeah.
I can nitpick all I want, and that's why it loses 3 points. But I was entertained at the end of the day. I enjoyed seeing something which I know is from Star Trek history.
Yeah.
And seeing Spock fight and get all emotional was kind of fucking fun.
Emotional.
There was a uniqueness to the film which boosts it from 6 to a 7 to me.
From the fight.
Yeah.
Just the fight alone.
Well, Uhura helps as well. By the way.
Hey, remember with
Technically, Uhura won that fight.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
And remember, one of the best parts of Phantom Menace was to see Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon finally fight
I didn't
Darth
get
Maul.
what the story from Star Wars 1 to 3. I was like, give me more lightsabers.
Give me more Darth Maul. But going back from Star Wars to Star Trek, Andrew, what do you give this?
I agree with Melvin. I give it a solid 7 because I don't know. I enjoyed the movie, but there's some parts which were just so stale for me. And, you know, so you as you said before, we expected things because you could already tell what's going to happen.
Yep.
So as much as I enjoyed the movie, just looking at it, I knew what was going to happen. So I just you just kind of like chilled back, like it's cool.
Well, I guess my turn. For a lot of this film, it was kind of predictable. I never felt a sense of urgency for this film. Never at any point was I worried for any of the characters. The camera work was a little bit kind of shoddy on this. But just going back to that first film, like if we were doing our reviews back then to what we're doing now, I would have given that movie like a 9.7, 9.8.
Really
It was that good of a movie. But unfortunately, with this one, I didn't feel it was as good. I'm gonna give this movie a 7.5 out of 10.
Give it a high rating. Okay.
Oh, we give it a high rating. So that's the first.
No, but also with the first movie, I reckon people didn't expect it to be that good. As
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
Because I'm like, oh, Star Trek, that's that old show. And then I'm
Yeah,
like,
I know.
then I thought they'd butcher it anyway, you know.
Yeah. I had low expectations for it. So I'm like, whoa.
And then it's like, okay, this is actually pretty decent.
Well, I didn't really have that high of an expectation for this one, but it was. Did anybody else think it was really obvious from the moment that that this was gonna have Khan in it? Or was that
I didn't
just
know
me?
anything about Khan.
Oh, okay. I guess it was just me.
Like I said, like the fans, you know something about Khan, you know it's him.
Well, yeah, it was mainly because I'm on the internet a lot,
Well,
and so when like people are on forums and everything like that,
Your final frontier.
this is my journey. Tim, what do you give this?
6.
Tim was 6, really?
Oh, I think Tim would give it a 10.
Maybe.
Alright, well, guys, thanks for listening. YouTube.com/Off the Chest Podcast. You can also check out our Facebook page on the same name. Thanks for listening.